we have really smart children, and I'm not really sure how, because they were made off of milkshakes and fries with mayonnaise. So, and deep fried pickles. So it works.
It works. Your baby still got all the best of the nutrients that was
Still
in your
got
body.
all the best.
Hi, I'm Kayla Heater, follower of Jesus, wife and mother of 5 children, Christian childbirth educator and doula, and your host of the Surrendered Birth Stories podcast, where we share God-centered birth stories, evidence-based birth education, and our pursuit of surrendering our birth plans to God. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I hope your week is off to a great start as usual. Our week is supposed to be really rainy here. We're supposed to get rain like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I believe the highs are only in the low to mid 50s, which is a little, chillier than we're used to, but I am ready to cuddle up next to a fire. I'm ready to bake. I'm ready to freezer meal prep for our upcoming baby. Honestly, we've had such great weather recently with the fall, and I've really enjoyed being outside, but I think I'm also going to take advantage of this rainy weather and cuddle up inside and do all the inside things for a few days. This past weekend was so lovely. We were blessed and honored and gifted with a baby shower. And it was wonderful to have all of our friends and family come. And yes, like we were saying at the shower, it's such a blessing to have the gifts, which for us were diapers, because that's what we need at this stage in the game, our diapers and wipes. But it was also just so nice to be surrounded by that many people who know and love you, and then also to have a special dedicated time to pray over this birth and this baby with all of our family and friends. So it was super special and meant the world to us. My mom, big shout out to her for pulling it off, and my sister and my best friend coming to help as well. So it was lovely. We're going to jump into this week's episode, but remember, this week is part 2 of a 2-part episode. So if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, please go back and listen to part 1 from last week with Matthew and Monika. And today's episode is where they're going to wrap up here with part 2 of their story. Amazingly, Matthew and Monika went on to have their second child relatively quickly after she was finally healed from her first, and again had another smooth pregnancy. But all of her plans would come crashing down as her due date approached, and it seemed as if all of her hopes and dreams were slipping out of her hands. Her biggest fear was tearing again, and for good reason. Tune in today to find out what happened and how birth number 2 and postpartum number 2 ultimately unfolded.
At 7.5 months postpartum from Jet, you got a text at about 7 a.m. saying, "Does that look like a line to you?" And it was.
And I remember you saying, you were wondering if it could be positive with that faint of a line, or if we needed, if that could have been wrong. And I was already, as soon as I saw the picture, I was like, congratulations. Because there's no doubt in my mind that you were pregnant again.
I thought we were crazy. But listening to it right now in this moment, I'm like, you were stupid.
Well, it's amazing to me. Yes, because I obviously remember all of that happening to you and how horrible I felt, because I felt like there was nothing I could do for you either. And it was like, freedom, we're back. I'm finally healed. Things are finally starting to get better. And I mean, yeah, it wasn't 2 months later before we got a text. So we just must have really celebrated that recovery.
Yeah, I really don't think we did all that much, actually.
Just enough. You celebrated just enough.
It feels
Celebrate just enough.
It feels great, but we literally even had conversations though. Like
We did.
we did not.
Mm.
My family, we're not terribly spread out. My oldest sibling is 5 years older than me, and then I have a brother that's a year and a half older.
Mhm.
And you have 2 sisters that are 5
We're
years
5
apart
years
each,
apart.
so 10 years from you to your oldest.
Mhm.
We did not want our kids to be far apart. So I think even with all this going on, like we're having conversations about like it's already been 6 months, like
Our
we
kids will be 18 months
yeah, we're thinking
apart
ahead, like
or
how far
whatever.
apart would they be if we so like we had already it sounds crazy like hearing all that you're going through, but we were like, okay, well, if we got pregnant now, it wouldn't be the worst. Like, and we had other friends, like the whole reason you came off of birth control. I mean, you were having complications, but also we didn't know. We're like, what if we're infertile and we don't know? Like,
we have friends that struggled to get pregnant.
yeah.
And
And we had friends that had a first and then struggled to have a second for years and years and years. So again, we're thinking we don't want our kids to be far apart. What if it was a fluke that we had a first one so easy? Like, if it happens, it happens. But also, if it takes a long time, at least we'll know it's going to take a long time. And so I think that's where we were mentally expecting, like it probably went. And I think, I mean, based on that, talking about it, like within the first or second time that you could have been pregnant, you were pregnant.
You were pregnant.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mid to late August, I thought I was pregnant. Just did not feel well. I was kind of nauseous. I was tired, but I had a 6-month-old, 7-month-old who was just now starting to sleep-ish well. I just didn't feel well. I was having a hard time with my milk supply. Oh, that was a whole nother thing during the recovery. I'll mention this once. During all of the postpartum appointments with Jet, all of the procedures were messing with my milk supply because I was in such high stress and all of that, like the tension was affecting my milk supply, and going under anesthesia started messing with my milk supply. And so my milk supply like dropped after.
And you had so many things like with the medications you were
With
taking.
the medications I could take,
off.
I had to pump and dump some.
Yeah. So it was a whole thing just to
good.
keep your supply up.
It was not good because I don't think I technically had to like dump all of the milk, but some of it was getting to like it could say like some of it would get to Jet and he would sleep for hours, which was kind of wonderful. But also I was like, I know that you're getting some drugs and I don't
I'm
like
drugging
that.
him. Yeah.
I don't like that. Anyway, yeah, that was a whole nother thing. So I was just having a lot of symptoms that made me think that I was pregnant. And so I had taken a couple of tests that he knew about because he knows about all pregnancy tests. And they were all negative. And I just really, it was kind of frustrating me. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so September 1st or 2nd, I can't remember, is when we got that positive test. And we texted you about the positive test. And then we went to the drugstore to get one of the digital ones that would say the word pregnant just to make sure. And we sent that photo to our midwife, Amanda, and said, "We're back." Oh, I can't believe she was excited, but
we
she
never
was.
stopped seeing her because
We
saw her the whole
literally never
time through
stopped
your
seeing her.
recovery. So it had been a couple months.
I kind of feel like I'm in a little bit of Amanda withdrawal these days, which is fine. I texted her the other day. I was like, "I miss you, but not that
But not
bad.
enough. Yeah.
Not enough to have another one right
Because
now."
she walked with you for almost 2 years straight.
Yeah, we were besties. I know some of her favorite fast food orders. Anyway, so we found out the day we were going to take family photos that we were pregnant with one of our best friends. And so we took the pregnancy test with us and we're like, we're just going to double this as our pregnancy announcement photo. We're not going to tell people because people are going to think we're absolutely loony bins, but we took the pregnancy test to announce it. And so Maddie was one of the very first people to know that we were pregnant with Tatum because we pulled the pregnancy test out during one of the photos. And she was like, "What?"
And when we told all of our like immediate family, they all were so confused. Like they did not even comprehend that we were announcing we were pregnant because they're like, "Why are you showing me your pregnancy
Your
test?"
old pregnancy test from
Yeah.
His
Jet.
mom was like, "Is that from Jet's?" And we were like, "No, why would
we do
Jet
that?
is literally in my arm as I'm holding it." No.
They were just, I think they had
just-
all walked with us through the recovery that they're like, why?
What?
Like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this?
Yeah. Honestly, Me too. No. We had conversations about it, but I think I remember having a conversation with you, and he was ready. Tatum, if you ever hear this, we adore you. He was ready. I said I needed 1 more month. I was like, I think I need another month.
I was not pushing
No.
to be clear too, though. I was not saying like I want another
He
kid
was
now.
just telling me that like, I think I'm ready. And I was like, give me 1 more month and I'll meet you there. And I'm pretty sure I was already pregnant when we had that conversation. Yeah. So
We
that
did
was
not
cool.
know, but you were.
Sounds very much like one of yours. Number
Jensen.
3, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that conversation.
Yes.
Except it took me like 8 months to get there. But
yeah.
by the time I got on board, I was already pregnant. Yes.
Yes. So we did not tell our families though immediately with Tatum.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
We waited a little.
We waited a little bit. We went and had the pregnancy confirmed by blood test at our doctor's office, went and saw Amanda. And our first ultrasound, we went in for thinking that we were at 8 weeks based on our calculations or whatever. And we went in and we had already been through this before. So we knew what to expect. So we went in for the first ultrasound and the image came up. And I remember looking at it and thinking, that's not quite right. That's not what it's supposed to look like. That's not what Jet looked like. And so I just kind of sat there for a minute. I kind of looked at you. I don't know if you had clocked it yet. And the lady doing the ultrasound didn't really say much, but eventually she said, so you're not 8 weeks pregnant. I was like, okay. She was like, it's looking more like 5 weeks. What did she say? I think she said like 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, okay.
Which didn't add up based on like when your pregnancy test came back and like how long, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. Like it was basically like the day that we got a positive pregnancy test was like day 1 or something.
Yeah.
Like it was
like would have been like the day you conceived.
Right. Like it didn't seem right based on our calculations. I should say that pre-Jet, before I was pregnant the first time, I was clockwork regular with my cycles. Like I started on a Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Like I'm
every month
clockwork. So I was very regular and got pregnant really easily. And so obviously postpartum and my body being through all that it had been through, my two periods, the only two that I had between pregnancies were not consistent.
That's more than
and
some
so it
people.
kind of was, it was kind of hard to track, but which is probably how Tatum got here. So we just couldn't quite figure that out. So she kind of stopped the ultrasound pretty quickly and said, like, you can go in and talk to Amanda in just a few minutes. She'll call you back. I'm like, okay. And so I kind of had this like sick feeling a little bit while we were waiting to talk to Amanda. It just didn't feel right. And so when we went into Amanda's office, she said, okay, so it looks like the baby is only like 5 weeks and a couple of days or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, but that's not what you think, right? And I said, no, like based on like when my last period was and whatever, like I think that we're like closer to 8 weeks. And she said, okay. She said, well, it could just mean that your timeline's off. She was like, that's very possible. She said, or it could be that you are pregnant, but the baby's not growing. Like it's almost like failure to thrive in utero. Like it's just not growing. And she said, the baby is too small right now to pick up the heartbeat on like ultrasound. She said, like, we can tell that it's there. Like it does have a heartbeat. Like the baby is alive and he has a heartbeat, but the baby, like, it's not 8 weeks. So she said, we're going to have you come back in a week, or was it 2 weeks?
I think it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It was a very long 2 weeks.
And she said, we'll see if it grows. And we were like, okay. And so I remember asking her for a percentage. And I believe she said that it was like a 60% chance that he wasn't going to be growing when we came back. And it was like, oh, like.
And we hadn't told anyone.
Other
than Maddie.
Maddie knew and Kayla Heater knew.
Yes.
I knew because then you texted me after that appointment.
I texted you after that because nobody knew. Like we couldn't text our parent. Like we had decided that we wanted to wait with Tatum because we told everybody really quickly about Jet. Like, we didn't tell, like, social media quickly about Jet, but everybody knew immediately that we were pregnant with Jet because we were so excited. But I think the second time it's, I think a lot of people think, like, if we miscarry, like, we don't wanna mass tell people, and then we
Mass
miscarry,
untell
and then
them.
everybody
Yeah.
knows, and everybody pities you, and everybody. And we've had friends that have had to walk through that, and we've walked closely with them through that, and have, tried to share their burden and be with them through that. And so now, sitting in the moment that we were thinking that we might be walking through that, and we had decided not to tell people because we wanted to just kind of hold on to it a little longer. I think for me especially, I regretted not at least telling our parents.
Yeah, because I think we now are kind of facing the situation of we wanted it to be a happy occasion if we were sharing with them, but now we're carrying this burden almost of, are we going to announce it to them and be like, well, don't be too excited
We're
because
pregnant, but,
we don't know if the baby's growing. So it was kind of lonely for
it was
like we
lonely.
had that very small handful, not even a handful, 2-3 people that knew, but we didn't really want to share it with anyone else because we didn't want to steal the joy of what should be a happy announcement.
Yeah, we didn't wanna give happy news with a caveat. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
wanna give and then take it,
Yeah.
in the same sentence. And so, whoa, that was rough. I remember, like, we went to a friend's wedding in those 2 weeks, and, like, sitting there and people saying, like, "Are you gonna have another one?" And we were like, "Maybe." Sitting there pregnant, I think, but will we have another? I don't know if we're gonna
Yeah.
it was difficult. And the same time, my sister called me, which, my oldest sister, we're 10 years apart. She had her first baby 7 weeks after we had Jet. So our children are 7 weeks apart. And so I called her, I think, one day and asked if she was pregnant during these 2 weeks because her husband had made a post on Facebook that I was like, I feel like you're trying to tell us something without telling us something. So I asked her if she was pregnant, and she said, "Are you pregnant?" And I said, maybe." And so I did tell Bridget because she was in fact pregnant. I told her that, yes, I am currently pregnant, and I hope I still will be in 2 weeks. So it did kind of help that she knew a little bit, but that was it. I don't think we really told anybody else. So when we went into the appointment 2 weeks later, we went into the ultrasound, and when that photo came up, I was like, "That's right. That looks
We could see
That's right."
We could see his heart.
And I think they told us that he had grown like 16 days worth in 14 or something. Like, he
Yeah.
had overachieved, little fella. So I think we decided that day we were going to tell
we
everybody.
we still didn't like
No,
announce
but we
publicly,
called our
but I
family.
think for ourselves we had realized, everyone's different. Everyone,
for
some people
sure.
want to just keep that between them
Yes.
and teach their own. But for us, we realized how lonely we felt with that realization that we may not have a baby, and suddenly regretting that we hadn't shared that with our family, realizing we kind of do need a village around us.
We need our village. If we're going to have bad news, we at least want people to know, like, we don't want to give bad news without them being able to walk through it with us,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
We don't need everyone to know, but we do
No.
need our people to know.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we pretty quickly told our parents and siblings and best friends and things like that. So, and I think that we did get a lot of the double takes of like, y'all are a little loony, but okay.
Whether you are pregnant with your first baby or wanting to have a different birth experience for a subsequent delivery, this is the fully comprehensive Christian childbirth course for you, the Surrendered Birth Course. With over 10 years of experience as a childbirth educator, a birth doula, and having had 5 kids myself, almost 6, I have created a course fit for every mama out there who wishes to be fully informed on all things pregnancy, labor, birth, postpartum, and breastfeeding, while remembering to keep Jesus at the center of it all. Our God created a beautiful design for birth, something to look forward to, and not something to be feared. Not only will this course get you prepared for your birth, but it will also get you excited for it. It will answer questions you never knew you had and teach you things you didn't realize were so incredibly valuable and central to the entire birthing process. I've had numerous couples on their second, third, or even fourth babies who've taken this course and said how incredibly glad they were and that they learned so much more than they ever thought they would. With over 12 hours of video content, 5 modules, numerous lessons, detailed PDF printout notes, and endless resources, we dive deep into pregnancy, labor, the risks and benefits of interventions, inductions, immediate and extended postpartum for both mom and baby, everything you need to know about breastfeeding, and basic newborn care. This course covers everything. Once you've taken the course, I am available to you for any questions you might have during a monthly live Q&A Zoom call exclusive to our online course audience, as well as through email. The course is on demand, so as soon as you purchase it, you'll be able to start right away and re-watch any lessons as many times as you need. Whether you are planning a medicated hospital birth or an unmedicated birth at a birth center or home birth, this course will prepare you in every way that you can be prepared. While I understand the desire to take a specific hospital or home birth course catered to your specific birth plans, birth doesn't always go how we plan. And having the knowledge of how birth can go in other environments outside of our plans is essential. Most importantly, I will help you to surrender these plans to God. And in return, the Holy Spirit will provide you with the peace that only He can give. For more information on the course, to read testimonials of others who have taken it, or to sign up for the course, just click the link in the show notes. And lastly, remember, just like we say here every week on the podcast, learn all that you can, make the best plans, and then leave it in God's hands.
We found out about Tatum right before we went to another amusement park. Actually, I had to text you again. I was like, so we're going to an amusement park this week.
Of course you are.
That was before we found out, had the first ultrasound. So yes, every time we go to an amusement park, not every time, we just got back from one, and I am not pregnant.
Right before we left, Jet kept pointing to Monica's belly and saying, "Baby in your belly? Is there a baby?
There's a baby in your belly, mommy." I was like, no.
That would be a trend, but hopefully not.
No, I rebuke that, and also am rethinking everything I ate today. Thank you very much. So I do remember that because we took a photo with a onesie outside of that amusement park. So I couldn't nap as much as I wanted to because I had a 1-year-old. So I was tired and I didn't have a lot of an appetite. I didn't really want to eat very much. I actually lost weight in Tatum's pregnancy, which they kind of were a little concerned about that. For me, they were like, I don't think that you're getting enough. They were like, Tatum is getting all that he needs. Like, well, they didn't know Tatum, but your baby is getting everything he needs. He's growing fine, but like, you're the one that we feel is like at a deficit. So like, you kind of need to eat some more, which was fine with me. So I got milkshakes and French fries. We have really smart children, and I'm not really sure how, because they were made off of milkshakes and fries with mayonnaise. So, and deep fried pickles. So it works.
It works. Your baby still got all the best of the nutrients that was
still
in your
got
body.
all the best. So yeah, pretty seamless pregnancy again with Tatum for the most part. And I think we had a lot of conversations together with our midwife going into the second delivery of, you cannot tear, because that's where the issue started, was simply because you tore, you had all of the tissue. So if we can just get you through delivery, because we weren't going to do a C-section.
Thank you.
But as much as we could avoid it, we were not going to do a C-section. We just need you not to tear. That is the goal, is to not tear.
So what did I tell you when you called me? What are all the things I said you had to do?
Lord, water birth?
Water birth was one.
A better position,
Yep,
not
not being
on
on
my
your
back,
back. Yep, that was 2.
and
Not shooting him out like a rocket.
well, yeah. Yeah.
At least that was the attempt.
A lot of power residing in me, let me tell you. Oh, yeah, Amanda, after Jet's birth, told us that he was the first baby she had ever delivered in her work clothes. She said,
Shouldn't
"I
have
didn't
time
even
to
have time to
change."
change into scrubs."
No, she didn't. That's right. I remember she was in
She
regular
says that
clothes.
now she has delivered a couple, but I was her first. Um, anyway, so that was our big thing. We decided we wanted to do a water birth, and Amanda could do that, and so we were really excited about that. Did all of the studying classes and things that we needed to do for that. So we felt really good. But we had also had a conversation, Matthew and I, that kind of dependent on how this birth went, it might be our last. If we have a delivery like a postpartum like Jet's postpartum, Jet, I love you if you ever hear this. That was gonna be it. Like we'll do it again, but we're not gonna have a third baby. And so it kind of felt like a lot was riding on it. Felt like we had put a lot of pressure on the delivery. Yeah, there's lots of pressure. So we were ready, I think. And because we had gone 39 weeks with Jet, we knew that it's possible that we could go 42 weeks. But also it was like, okay, we went early with Jet, so we quite possibly could go early again. Like, we want to be prepared. We want to be a little bit better prepared.
Yeah.
So, and people tell you like you could go early, you could go late, but typically the time of delivery is shorter with your second.
Yes, your length of labor is shorter.
Yeah, your length of labor.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, like we had like a 7-8 hour labor with Jet. Like it could be a little shorter.
Yeah. Cut it in half, usually.
Yeah.
I do want to add.
Yes.
I think everything was seamless in your pregnancy again, for the most part, except I would say increasingly the closer we got to the time of delivery, like knowing we're getting close, like 36, 37 weeks, 38, I think there was like an underlying
like a little bit of attention
fear of what this delivery is going to look like.
Yeah.
Because of everything that you went through afterwards. It was almost like we were living in the bliss of just like, oh, we have a baby coming. We're excited. And then the reality was getting closer of the unknown of what is this going to look like.
Yeah.
And I think mentally we were both.
I don't think we talked about it a lot.
It was kind of like this underlying thing that like occasionally we'd bring it up, but it was almost like we were
bring it up and then like we don't talk about it.
Like we're praying for the best and hoping for the best, but I think we're a little afraid going into this delivery that like, what if it
happen again? Yeah.
We also at the time were in a small group, a parenting small group at our church with other parents, just working through like a parenting spiritual book. And I think they were asking for prayer requests one day. And so I requested prayer for like our upcoming delivery. I don't remember how far along. I was past 35 weeks. I don't remember. And I just started uncontrollably crying. I did not know a lot of these people very well. Okay.
It wasn't one of those small groups where you've been together and you know everyone. It was kind of like, we didn't really know anyone.
I think we had been in that small group for like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And we were the youngest couple, I think. So like, it wasn't even like our peers. It was just a bunch of parents. Like some of their kids were like 13. And I could not get it together. Like, I think I just broke of like, I'm terrified.
Yeah. And I don't think I realized, because we weren't talking about it, I didn't realize how much that was weighing on you. And I think me not wanting to put that on you either, like I was equally terrified, but didn't want to verbalize it to her and put that in her mind if it wasn't there. But being her husband and wanting to support her through it, I'm scared because I'm like, I know how hard that was on our marriage, on you physically. Like, it's scary. Like, we're all excited about it, but the reality is like, it's scary.
Yeah.
And not knowing what that's going to look like. And then you opening up in that small group and realizing how terrified you were. I was like, oh my gosh, like I had no idea. Like, I'm feeling those same things, but we're not talking about it. So I think we finally leaving
opened a
that meeting,
conversation.
we obviously
Yeah.
started talking about it at that point. I was like, I had no idea that. I mean, I could have assumed, but you weren't saying it. I wasn't saying it. It was kind of the elephant in the room that neither one of us wanted to address,
Yeah.
but it wasn't going away. Like it
Nope.
was there.
It was coming infinitely closer. There's just a lot of emotions leading up to Tatum's delivery, whenever that was going to be. So the week before,
Hmm.
I was 38 weeks pregnant, and Jet went to daycare. He started going to daycare when he was like 3 months old for part of the day. And so he came home one day from daycare. He was fine. We did dinner, everything was fine. And then right before bed, he got sick. He started throwing up. And so we were like, "Oh, that's fantastic. Love that." So, I mean, it wasn't the first time that he had ever thrown up, but it was pretty bad. So we, cleaned it up, bathed him again. I think he slept a little bit that night. I think he got up a couple of times sick.
Yeah.
And I think we went a whole nother day of he was out of daycare,
But
and he was sick.
he was getting worse.
He was getting worse. He
would
was not eating
eat, and he was
and
not
drinking.
using the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so obviously we started getting concerned. We're going into the weekend
We're
at
going
this
into the
point.
weekend.
And so I think we finally made the decision on Saturday. We had been in contact with the pediatrician, or your sister is a nurse. We were talking to her as well. And at that point, they had recommended that we needed to go get him fluids.
Yeah. So we ended up in urgent care on Saturday.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And the IV.
Yeah, he ended up getting an IV, which is absolutely traumatizing to try and hold down your 1-year-old.
Yeah, he was
to let them stick him. It was
16 months old.
16 months old. Yeah.
They couldn't hardly find a vein on him.
He was so dehydrated that they couldn't find a vein. This is all prevalent to Tatum's birth. It all ties together. It was really traumatizing, just how sick he was. He just was so depleted. And so he was in urgent care that day. They gave him some fluids. He was able to eat some applesauce.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he drank a little bit of apple juice while we were in the urgent care.
Yeah. So we were feeling better.
We felt a little better. They had pumped him with a lot.
And so we
left. He peed.
Yes,
there because they had to let him pee before they would let us go. So he peed. So they let us go. We came home. He played. He seemed pretty happy because he had, had all of those fluids, whatever. And then towards the end of the evening, he wouldn't eat again.
Mm-hmm.
And threw up again that night. I believe so. And then the next morning, I think hadn't peed again.
Yeah, he had only
would not
the
eat.
only time he went to the bathroom was in urgent care with fluids. So I mean, we went for almost another 24 hours.
Yeah.
Same thing, no eating.
Yeah.
Not using the bathroom. And so then
we decided at about 9 a.m. we went back on Sunday, which was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day. For my first Mother's Day, I was after our postpartum surgery, and this one I was in urgent care with Jet. So they came in and told us, like, we're gonna have to admit you.
They had tried sticking him
Couldn't get it.
maybe 3 times his arm. They could not get a vein. So they finally were saying they were going to send us upstairs and have like their specialist team
come in.
Yeah.
He was very sick. So we were admitted to the hospital on Sunday. And Sunday, Mother's Day, was 39 weeks for me. I am very pregnant and my feet are very swollen and very uncomfortable. And it didn't matter because my baby was sick. So we had to hold Jet down for another IV, and he had to stay in the bed or still for 12 hours.
And he's 16 months old.
He's 16 months old, walking, wide open,
full of energy, kind of getting, so even being sick, he was still moving about. So like, it was a miracle that we were even able to keep him down for 12 hours. Like, yeah. Her parents came to the hospital. My parents were there. We had finger puppets. We were doing every trick in the book just to keep him laying in a bed with an IV in the foot, because the foot was the only place they could get the IV.
They were not happy. A lot of people were not happy that they put it in the foot.
That was the only place they could get a vein, and he couldn't walk.
The middle of the night that night, he woke up and was absolutely inconsolable and only wanted me to hold him.
Yeah.
And so we pulled the IVs over and everything, and I sat up in a chair in the hospital room holding him all night.
Yeah.
Because that was the only way that he would sleep and would be still. And so the next morning, I think late that night when one of the nurses came in and you said, like, you should go home. Like, my parents said you should go home. The doctors that were seeing Jet were saying you need to go home to me because of how far along I was pregnancy. And it was like, I'm not leaving.
And for Jet,
Like,
Jet, for context, was born at 39 weeks.
at 39 weeks.
For
And
you.
so I was
and you were already
past
past that. So, I mean, given your history, you very likely could have at any moment. So,
and I remember on Sunday, the day that he was admitted, when we got up to the room before they put the IV in him, I remember going to the bathroom and thinking that I was losing my mucus plug. And I was like, oh no. Like, I remember standing in the hospital bathroom thinking like just begging the Lord, please do not let me go into the labor and have to choose to leave one baby in this wing of the hospital to go deliver my other one. I just did not want to have to make that choice to leave Jet to go deliver Tatum. And I didn't want Jet to be alone, so I would want Matthew to stay with Jet. And I didn't want to deliver Tatum without Matthew either. And so it was just like, you felt like the ultimate rock in a hard place. So that was Mother's Day 2024. So all night, Sunday night, I held Jet. And the next morning, he came off the IV, but they made he had to drink a certain amount and eat a certain amount before they would let us go home.
And use the restroom.
And use the restroom a couple of times and all kinds of stuff. And so, we, at one point, they came to us and said, we will keep him another night if you choose to. Like, you're going to have to make that decision. Like,
it was almost like he wasn't cleared
to leave,
but he wasn't in critical condition. They were recognizing how they were basically taking you into consideration almost as much as they were him.
Yeah.
They're saying he's fine. Like, they're like basically saying they're like, he can leave, but he's kind of on that edge line of if he goes home, he doesn't have you might just end up coming right back. And at least you're here. I think they had taken him off the IV, but he still had the needle
basically
in his foot. So they were basically saying, like, if he stays here, we're ready to hook him back up.
Yeah.
If he needs it, kind of thing. But I mean, that was probably the hardest decision.
That was so hard because it was like we didn't know what decision to make that was best for him.
It felt like there wasn't a right decision.
Right. And so it finally just came down to, you know what, we're gonna just pray that the Lord would help us to make the right decision, because we really, it was one of those like parenting moments. We've had a couple of them now, but it just felt like I don't actually know what is the best choice right now. I'm supposed to make the decisions for my child right now, and I really don't know what's best. And so really just praying like, Lord, would you please make it really evident what we're supposed to do? And so really after we kind of had that conversation and prayed, Jet started drinking more.
Took a couple applesauce pouches.
Yeah. So we decided we're going to go home. We need to go home. I need to go home, and I'm not going home unless Jet goes home. So we came home late Monday. Mm-hmm. We came home, we went to bed, and it was wonderful to be in our bed. Tuesday, Matthew came down with that same stomach bug.
And it hit hard.
Like,
I was in bed. I couldn't get up. I couldn't move without running off.
If he like moved his body, he had to run to the toilet. I mean, it was bad. My parents came over in the morning to help me with Jet, and everybody just wanted me to go to bed. They just said, like, we will watch Jet. We will push fluids. We will do all the things. You and Matthew need to go to bed. Matthew didn't feel well. I needed to rest. I could not sleep. It was I just couldn't do it because I wanted to help Jet. I wanted to make sure he was drinking and eating. So while I was laying in the bed, our midwife, Amanda, called and said, I am so sorry, but I'm having a family emergency and I cannot be with you this week. if Tatum comes this week, I cannot come. And I was, of course, she told me kind of what was going on. And so I was, of course, very concerned for her and her family. And so we talked, but the freak out that was happening of, we have a game plan. Like, we know every step, what we're going to do, how we're going to communicate, what we're going to do to not tear.
And she was the only person we had met with about this
Yeah,
pregnancy.
we went in full in on Amanda. Like, she is our person.
Like, the first time around, they kind of rotated us between midwives before we had decided, we're going to go with Amanda. But like, going into this pregnancy, she was like, don't even meet with them. Like, every appointment, she was like, you're seeing me.
You. It's me and you.
She's like, we know your history.
Right. She was going to do a special for you and come in regardless of whether or not she was on call.
Which is what we wanted. Which is what we wanted. Like,
yeah,
we wanted that. So she said, the other midwife, Daniela, is wonderful. Like, I'm gonna let her know that you're gonna be her patient and how far along you are, and you need to call the office and make an appointment to see her tomorrow. I was like, okay. So we're gonna have to give this lady all of our postpartum trauma in one appointment at 39 and 6 days pregnant. And so I called and made an appointment for 11 a.m. on Wednesday to meet Daniela for the first time.
Meanwhile, Matthew's laying in bed sick.
Yes.
We were talking in the bed and trying to figure it out. Matthew's running to the toilet because he keeps turning over to talk to me. And we called you because we had not arranged for you to be our doula for this birth for no other reason than because I go so fast in labor that it was like, I don't know how quickly you could be there.
Well, and you were also like, Amanda was kind of also going to like play that role for you this time.
Yeah. So it just wasn't the way that we were going to do this birth specifically. And so I called you and I said, I know that this is crazy last minute, but could you be our doula for Tatum's birth that could happen at any moment? And you said, like, I would, of course, if I was able to, but I can't. And I don't remember what was going on.
Chris was out of town and I didn't have anybody to keep the kids.
Yeah.
He was at this like men's retreat thing in West Virginia with his family. And I was like, I don't have anybody to keep my children.
Completely valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So we were like, all right, we are on a desert island by ourselves. Like, it's like, what are we gonna do? Like, we had
epiphany a couple of weeks ago of like, oh, we're actually really terrified.
We're terrified of this experience, like, and what's gonna happen, and we have no, like, obviously we have no control. Like,
yeah,
but we could at least hold on to. But we have a plan, and all of our ducks are in a row, and
it just felt like everything was falling
no
apart.
Ducks are in a row. We've got wild geese everywhere. Yeah.
It was like everything that could be going wrong felt like it was going wrong.
Very
like
wrong.
Everything with Jet, and then just this whole other mental battle of this pregnancy. It was like,
yeah,
it was very overwhelming.
It was not good.
So we're up a creek without a paddle. Other than that, you have the Lord. Okay, let's not forget his hand in all of this.
Right. No. So we went to bed that night fully expecting to wake up the next morning, pray that Matthew was a little bit better.
Finally get some sleep.
Yeah. And I was going to go meet Danielle. I think you were going to go with me as long as you could get out of the bed to meet Daniela, the new midwife, to go over our history. So we went to bed that night. I had a really hard time sleeping that night, probably just because of the stress, partly. And so I woke up a lot during the night, just couldn't sleep, kind of agitated, just trying to get comfortable. And at about 5 o'clock, my stomach really hurt. And I was like, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. And I thought, I'm coming down with a stomach bug. Like, I'm going to have the stomach bug almost 40 weeks pregnant. I was 40 weeks pregnant that day. That was 40 weeks. And I was like, I'm going to have the stomach bug. And so I went to the bathroom and nothing happened. So I came back to the bed and I laid down. And like when you have a stomach ache, like if you can find that one position, you just don't move.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find that one position and I found it for a minute. And then like a couple minutes later, like it's like, oh, I don't think this is going to be comfortable anymore. No, it's not comfortable. I need to go to the bathroom again. And so I think I got up again and went to the bathroom. And I think I had like kind of disturbed him a little bit. So he kind of turned over at about 5:30. And so when I knew he was awake, I said, I think I have the stomach bug. And he said, oh no, like, are you serious? What are your symptoms? What are you feeling? And I said, well, I haven't like been sick yet, but I feel like I'm gonna be sick, like just kind of in waves. Like I just don't feel good. Like my stomach just hurts. And he was
like every few minutes.
And he was like, what do you mean it comes in waves? He was like, you're either sick or you're not sick. And I was like just every once in a while, I'm just really uncomfortable when my stomach hurts. And he was like, Monica, you're in labor. You're having contractions right now. How long have you been having contractions? I was like, about that. I woke up at 5, really uncomfortable. He was like, work. So I start timing them. And they were 8 minutes apart, 7 to 8 minutes apart, which sounds really familiar. And so we called the doctor's office, the emergency line to the doctor's office. Because they're not open. And the triage nurses, what's going on? I was like, I'm in labor. They're like, okay, well, like, how do you know? And I was like, I've got contractions every 7 to 8 minutes. And also, like, I do really fast labors. Like, also, my midwife is not available and I'm supposed to meet a new one and I don't know anything to do. And so they were like, we'll have Daniela call you. Okay. So she called pretty immediately and said, like, tell me what's going on. And I said, my contractions are 7 to 8 minutes apart. Has your water broken? No. Okay. Like, how does this compare to your first? Like, that you're in labor for sure. Yes, I'm in labor for sure at this point. I'm pretty sure. And at this point, I texted our parents because we had a whole game plan. Matthew's parents were going to come to our house and wait for Jet to either wake up or just watch Jet while we left for the hospital. My mom was going to meet us at the hospital. So I texted them in a group message at 5:30 and said, if this is false, I will buy you breakfast when you get here, but I'm pretty sure I'm in labor. Can y'all please come over? And within like 2 minutes, both moms were responding that they were walking out the door. Like it was like,
we'll be there.
His mom didn't even remember shoes. She was in her slippers, poor thing, for like the next 2 days. So I'm on the phone with Daniela. Nice to meet you. And she said, okay, it sounds like there's still like a little irregular, like call me back when either your water breaks or they're consistently 5 minutes apart. I said, okay, sounds good. Hang up the phone, have a contraction, time it. It's 5 minutes apart. Track the next one. It's 5 minutes apart. And I was like, I'm calling her back right now. So we called her back, said they're 5 minutes apart. She said, okay, like, are you ready to come in? Yeah, we're just like going to throw the last couple last minute things that we've decided we're just going to buy seconds of all the last minute things this next time because we don't have time for last minute things anymore. So as soon as your parents walked in the door, Jet woke up. So we had a couple minutes with him, which was nice. Your parents got here while we were putting all the last minute things in the bag and getting in the car. And by the time we got in the car, I told Matthew, I'm fine, but they're 3 minutes apart. Like we need to go. And he was like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, there was nothing to do. Like your parents weren't here yet. We had to wait. So we booked it to the hospital. Car contractions are still as bad as I remembered them being.
There was a road closure.
To get into the hospital. The road was closed. So you had to go around the hospital and back in. Time is of the essence.
And what time is it?
We got to the hospital at 7:15. Mm-hmm. Because I have a photo of the road closure sign at 7:11. So we pulled up and it was interesting to contrast the two. With Jet, I was being wheeled in a wheelchair. I walked in with Tatum's. We also packed better this time so we could carry it all. And so I walked in to check in and was able to give my social security number without moaning this time. I was present. Like it was uncomfortable, but like I was good. I was talking. I think I was moving okay. I didn't really have to stop. Mm-hmm. So checked you in and then they told Matthew he was going to wait. My mom got there at almost the exact same time. So he and my mom waited while I was sent to triage to check. And so, they're doing all the things. Daniela comes in and, shakes my hand. And I am in 5 minutes trying to tell her how unbelievably important it is that I do not tear. Like, whatever you do not let me tear. Like, please don't let me tear. It is
so important.
Crucial.
Number one priority in this birth.
Like, I don't think I will survive. And so it was really like, there was just a lot of anxiety trying to get that across with the ticking time bomb that is labor, my labor anyway. So she like checks me, whatever, and she said, all right, you're 8 centimeters dilated. That's how to come in. Like, you wait out until you're 8 centimeters. And I was like, I got here as fast as I could. Like, you don't understand.
And barely 2 hours before you realized you're in labor.
I had just been tracking contractions for 2 hours at this point. And so she like went out, she said, I'll be right back. And like, I'll let your husband come back or whatever. And so I remember going to the toilet, and it was like my old friend. I sat down and I was like, I don't think I can get back up. Like, it just switched. Like, all of a sudden it was like, I'm swaying, and I knew it was happening. And I was like, because when you walked in that room after Daniela had come out, you came back in, and I could see it in his eyes that he clocked. He was like, oh, that's not the Monika I left like 10 minutes ago. Like,
we were both more, I mean, obviously going through it once before, we were both way more aware of where you were at and what was happening.
Yeah.
So seeing you in that condition, I mean, it had not been long at all that we had been separated, and then walking into the room and seeing the way you were, I was like, this is like how she was right before we gave birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just standing on the concrete floor.
And we're not in the room. We're not in labor and delivery yet. They're just the pre-check room.
Yeah. So the nurse that was there, I wish I could remember her name. I would write Cone Health and tell how wonderful she was. She said, we're going to put you on a stretcher on your hands and knees to wheel you up to labor and delivery, because I think that you would give birth on the stairs, like if you walked. So there's a picture of me like, holding on to the stretcher on my knees to keep from giving birth while walking to labor and delivery. So we did a water birth. So we got up there, and immediately I just got in the water.
So Daniela already had the water going then.
Yes.
Oh, well,
yes, because we
crucial.
Called.
Yeah.
I got in the tub, and Daniela was there pretty immediately.
She was, yeah.
I think she was like basically
in there waiting for you.
It's like she could tell. Behind the scenes, had Amanda told her anything? I don't know, but I got in the tub, and I think this time my water hadn't broken like it did with Jet. And so to me, it was like, I feel like I'm there. Like, I feel like he should be coming out like now, but also my water hasn't broken. So is this just like, am I going to have like a random long labor? Like, am I going to be in this situation for a long time because things weren't quite the same? And so Daniela said, she was like, your water will probably break as soon as you get in the water. And I was like, oh, okay. So I think that I had like one contraction in the water and it broke.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing the blood and I was like, what is happening? Like, I was seeing blood in the water suddenly. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. Cause I had wasn't in water with Jet. So I didn't
see the blood. Yeah.
And you can't see your feet when you're pregnant. So I didn't know what was coming out anyway. So, like, I was very uncomfortable, but comfortable in the water. Wonderful. Highly recommend. But just like the contractions and everything was very uncomfortable. And I asked Daniela, I was like, how close am I? Like, tell me, what do I need to expect? What do I need to tell my mind right now? And she said that, you could push 2 times or something.
Yeah,
what did she say?
Give me 1 good push or 2 pushes and he's out, but don't
like,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Like, do not. So I was like, okay.
So like, you're there, but like, let's not do this yet.
But just
we don't want to tear. You're there, but you don't want to tear.
You're there, but you don't want to tear. My motto. So we just held for a long time. That was a long 30 minutes.
Yeah. She was great at
She was
coaching you
wonderful.
though through, because I mean obviously your body's
You could
natural,
feel the like contraction
and
and
every
like
time
the
you would start to
pressure.
tense, she
She's
said,
like,
"Don't help
like
it,
let
don't
off,
help it."
let off, let off. I don't want to.
So she was basically coaching you through just
Holding him,
let your
like
body just do it. Don't assist. Don't give any extra energy, tension to the push. Just let your body do its thing.
Yeah. And at one point she turned me because there was like a lip that needed to move to like give him some more room, which was helpful. So she kind of maneuvered me there. And then as soon as I turned back over, I was like, I have to push. Like, I gotta do it. So it just kind of came like I just kind of started pushing again with that same like kind of heave situation. And it's funny, I remember like one thing that helped me in the water specifically was like I was really close to the water. Like my nose was bare like almost touching the water. And I was kind of like blowing out with every push, and I could feel the water on my chin. Like so like I felt like I was making some sort of progress. And it's funny because now my mom and Matthew were saying like we were so nervous, like your face was basically under the water, like we were like feeling like we needed to grab your face. I was like, no, I wanted it there. And so I think it was another 3 pushes or so, and I said, is he out yet? Like, come on. And she said, yeah, oh yeah, go ahead and grab him, he's just down there. I was like, how long has he been floating there? Like, what do you mean he's down there? Reach down and grab him. So,
It was almost like we
was
could all
weird.
see the relief on you, and it was like you were almost
I
like
wasn't there yet.
you weren't
like,
even sure that he was out. You were like,
It was-
"Is he out?" And Danielle was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead
just
and grab him."
And you're like, "Oh," like you didn't even know it was done.
Water birth. It was lovely. So anyway, so I reached out and grabbed my fish and pulled him out, and he was so cute. And I was able to kind of wash him off a little bit. It was nice. So yeah, night and day, different, kind of crazy.
Well, and even it was a while for me witnessing it the first time with your pushes. I mean, even as short as it was kind of scary to watch because it was almost like you weren't present some of the time. Like you would push, and I was watching your eyes roll back, and it was kind of like I don't know, it was very scary. And I never told you that until after Tatum's, really, I think.
Yeah.
Because I had something to compare it to.
Yeah.
Like we were talking through like your whole you like in the tub, like in
I had a
between.
hair in my mouth, and I was like, can you please get that hair? Like
yeah,
I
you were
there.
so at peace through it that it was just different. Like
It was
it felt like we were there together versus the last time, like she's in the bed on her back, I'm at her
like
feet.
I wasn't aware of anyone in jet like
Yeah, I had to like almost like retell you your first birth like after the fact, like this is what happened. We're looking at photos. Whereas I feel like this one with Tatum, I didn't have to recount it. It was like you were present of mind through the whole delivery, which was
nice,
really redeeming.
Yeah, since having both and being able to talk about it and looking back at photos that you took that were not pretty of me, no fault of you as the photographer, I look like I'm dying in our first birth. Like I look almost purple. Like once Jet was out, like Jet's on me and my eyes like aren't there. Like I look dead.
Well, you
like it just
you described not even remembering.
There's
him.
like there's moments that aren't there. And I think I don't know what all that was. Was it just how fast everything happened that like I didn't know what was happening? But also I think the intensity of the actual labor with Jet was just crazy. I busted, well, obviously my nose bled because the nurse told us, but I also busted blood vessels in both eyes. I looked like I had been beaten up. So it was just like the pressure of that one was kind of unbelievable. And so with Tatum, so I don't know exactly what it was. Obviously the Lord had his hand in both of our births, but what's really interesting, we could see how the Lord had worked, especially in the situations surrounding Tatum's birth, but also like how redeeming it was, Tatum's birth was. And I think that part of it was because of all that we had gone through with Jet's, but also with how sick Jet was leading up to Tatum's birth. I mean, we had 24 hours at home. Like, I prayed in the hospital room on Sunday, please don't let me have to leave this wing and go to the other wing and deliver Tatum. And I think that he did, because with Jet, I lost my mucus plug and 24 hours later I was in labor. And with Tatum, it was at least 48.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, yes, every labor is different, but also like the Lord is in control. Like, so Matthew was still sick on Wednesday, the day that Tatum was born. That was May 15th. You were still sick that morning. You got up and went to the bathroom once after I told him that I was having contractions and he was sick.
I just prayed. I was like, this is happening. So Lord, take control. Like, I literally could not move yesterday. Like, so we're going to the hospital.
And I and he was not sick again until we got to the mother baby room.
It was almost
then
like
it was kind of back.
It did come back, but it was almost like the Lord just like hit pause.
The Lord sustained, and was
like,
able to keep Matthew healthy and
be with you.
Yeah, and present to support me in labor during that whole, like, it's hard to even put into words, which isn't helpful for a podcast. But like, the Lord is in control, even in what an awful time we had in the hospital with Jet, and just how traumatizing it was for us to watch, and anyone to watch your baby be sick and to feel so helpless. And also with that, on top of that, being so far along in pregnancy and knowing the impending birth is coming, and how are we going to have the strength to face that,
Yeah.
And obviously it was through the Lord. Like, there's no way that we could have done that without his hand in keeping me from going into labor, getting Jet well, that I was not worried about Jet while in labor. Like,
right.
Jet had made enough progress at home since we had come home and the morning of, that I was at peace to leave him and then not have to think about him. Like, while I could be fully present in the delivery with Tatum, and you can be fully present in the delivery with Tatum.
But we're all on the edge of our seats here, because you haven't said whether or not you tore after Tatum came out. And I thought that would be maybe the very first thing that you said after he was born. And I'm like, nope, you're just holding everybody off.
We're just really keeping you on the podcast as long as possible. No, I think had a first degree.
They said it was
almost first degree.
Very superficial.
Yeah, very surface.
So light that
you don't need stitches.
Didn't even stitch.
She was like, I'm not even going to stitch it. She was like, I'm just going to let it.
Just going to keep your legs together. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just proceed with caution. And there's also a photo of me the day that we got home, crisscross applesauce on the playroom floor, which I've chastised myself a lot about.
Put your legs together.
Put them together. Yeah. So we didn't tear bad, but I would say that basically we didn't tear. It was not enough to need any sort of attention.
Yeah.
And so we did go and see Amanda. Thankfully, everything was okay with her family. And so we did see her we did go in 2 weeks after, because she was like, she kept saying, I want to keep a watch on your vagina. I was like,
I bet she did.
I'm going to let you. So yeah, we went in like every 2 weeks, I think, with her to like watch and make sure that there was no funny business going on. And there was not. We didn't have any sort of issues with that. So we were in the hospital room in Mother Baby talking about the next one
again,
which is not
because you didn't tear.
And we've made it 7 months, way past 7 months postpartum with Tatum.
I was like, Tatum's like what, 18 months now?
He's 16.
16.
He is the age that Jet was when we brought Tatum home. So
you're going to more than double that. That's great.
Yeah, we're doing great. Yes.
So with all these experiences with, the smooth pregnancies, but yet the terrible postpartum with your first, due to the stitching, and that led to a bunch of other issues, breastfeeding and all the different things. And now we've had this like redemptive experience. And even though leading up to it, it looked like, oh no, everything's going wrong. But then when it actually happened, everything went right, like better than you could have imagined. And you touched on this a little bit just a few minutes ago, but I just wanted to give you both a chance just to say, like, what do you feel like the Lord taught you through, those 2 years, through those experiences? What do you feel like you took away from that experience most, either like in your relationship with him or just in like lessons or revelations? Like,
I think for me, it was kind of a revelation of like, especially leading up to the birth of our second, Tatum. I think the fear was coming from a place of control. Like,
yeah.
obviously, all of that was stemming from, we had this perfect plan that we were working so hard. Like, we got to do everything right to make sure that this birth does not have a postpartum recovery like the first time. And I think it was almost God's grace in stripping all of those things away of like, I'm going to bring you to the end of yourselves where you have no choice but to surrender it. And I feel like that's kind of where we both got. It was just like everything that was going wrong, almost in a way, looking back now, I would say, and we both have talked about this a lot, was kind of a blessing because it was almost like this major distraction from almost the fear that I think was creeping in of, oh my gosh, this is terrifying. What if the worst happens again? It was like all of these other bad things were happening essentially that were forcing us to kind of seek him harder and more intentionally than we would on any other average day. It was like God was really putting a magnifying glass on himself in that way that was really, I think, allowing us to connect with him in a way that I don't think you can when life is just perfect. It was like because everything was going wrong, we really needed him and we were very aware of how much we needed him.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, in hindsight, looking back, at least from my perspective, it was like, I don't know if everything would have seemed as peaceful or perfect as it felt like it went from start to finish had everything not gone wrong. Like how we were seeing it as going wrong with Jet. Like, but now it's like even down, like as bad as it seems, like the timing of it, like we got out of the hospital one day in enough time to let like Jet recover and we went home. Even though I got sick, I had a whole day in bed and then recovered enough to be able to go back to the hospital. You had a day to rest. And it was almost like that distraction, I think, helped you not go immediately into labor with that fear at the forefront of your mind. You're worried about your son. And it was like, it didn't even, when contractions started, it was not even the first thought that I'm in labor. Like, that's how far I feel like God had removed you from the fear of it, that it was like, oh, wait, this is happening. Like, you weren't even like, that wasn't where you're at. And so you didn't have time to dwell on that. And I think in a way that was kind of God's grace going into that labor, that you were kind of in a, I don't know, more of like a sound mind going into it, that you weren't fearful.
I think that's one of the biggest things that we've talked about in our marriage. I have a control issue sometimes. And so I think that that's spot on for me as well, of like, we went into our first birth with Jet of like this written out birth plan, and that's great. And I think it's great to like know what you want. Like there were things that I wanted and that's what we did. But I think with Tatum, it was like, I almost like, I didn't idolize my midwife in any way. Like, but I didn't have a written out birth plan. Like she was like, "Oh no, I've got it all written down." Like she had it, which was wonderful and I adore, and we will use her again. But like I think I had put so much stock in she's got me. Like she's going to get us through it. She knows what we need. She knows like how to manipulate. Like our midwife has us. We're good. And as long as we follow these steps, like she had told us, you call me the first moment you have a twinge, which was not an option the first time that I had a contraction with Tatum. So like I couldn't call her. And then it was like, as soon as things are this far along, you start coming to the hospital. Well, that wasn't an option because she wasn't at the hospital waiting. Like things were just stripped from me. Like you said, like I just didn't have those bullet point like timeline things of when this happens, I'm going to call Amanda and she's going to do this. And when this happens, I'm going to call Amanda and she's going to do this. Like that was my plan. And I think I had put so much stock into that, that it was like the Lord said, it's not that the Lord caused all of these things, but I think that the Lord redeemed all of these things that happened due to the world and sickness and sin nature and like all of these things that are like not of him. He was able to redeem and take like, oh, well, Amanda is not an option. So lean on me. Like,
Right.
be more aware of my presence than is Amanda here yet. Like, be more aware of what I've given you in your husband is fully present
Yeah.
with you right now. Like, he's not in the bathroom. And I don't know that I would have said that immediately in the moment. We did, even that morning, say like, thank God that like we were home yesterday. And thank the Lord that I didn't go into like, we even like were specifically sending out messages when we were in the hospital to family and to close friends, like, please help us pray for Jet and for Monica to not go into labor. And there were people in other countries, just because of who we know, praying and having their people pray that Jet would be okay and Monica would not go into labor. And so I think obviously the power of prayer and the power of community and having that is just completely invaluable. And I think actually what's really funny is there's a song that makes me cry every time I listen to it. And I think I just kind of connected why. There's a song called Flowers. It's on K-Love, but you sent it to me one day. And the whole premise of it is like when I'm in the valley and I don't understand, like the Lord is holding my world in a watering can. And like flowers like need my rain to grow. Like, and so the very last verse gets me every time. And it says, like, as I'm standing on the mountain looking down in the valley below and seeing a valley full of flowers in bloom, I say, like, thank God for like the one who holds my world and a watering can. Like,
And thank you for the rain.
thank you for the rain and the days of pain and like all of these things like that have gotten me to this mountaintop to be able to see this beauty. And I think for me in my life, I feel like being a mom has been the dream forever. It's just been the dream forever. And because I'm a Christian, I needed a husband first. And so I feel like I kind of felt like I was in the waiting a lot for like meeting a man that I wanted to be my husband and to be the father of my children, because being a mom was the dream. But then when becoming a mom brought a lot of heartache and physical pain and just losing myself a little bit and losing my faith a little bit, because there was so much hopelessness and loneliness in the first postpartum, to then going into the second birth with all the ingredients to feel just as lonely and just as helpless, and watching it be completely redeemed and being able to like have the visual of that immediately. Like, it didn't take us years to see that the Lord redeemed our first birth. We knew it in the moment, like before we even got up to our room. Like, we knew that we had already, like, he had already redeemed that. And I think that that's just incredible. I don't even know what other word describes that, except that like just how beautiful the Lord can make things.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. You can reach me at Surrendered Birth Services on Instagram or email me at contact@surrenderedbirthservices.com. Be sure not to miss an episode by hitting the follow button. Also, we'd love for you to leave a written review of the show so that more people's births and lives can be changed by the love of Jesus and the empowerment of accurate birth education. If you really enjoyed this episode in particular, please take a screenshot of it and post it to your Instagram story, tagging Surrendered Birth Services. If you would like to be a guest on the Surrendered Birth Stories podcast, please click the link in the episode show notes to fill out your interest form. Also, if you're interested in taking my childbirth classes, birth consultations, or having me as your birth doula, please click on the link in the show notes to take you to my website for online and in-person options. Just as a reminder, this show is not giving medical advice, so please continue to see your personal care provider as needs arise. We hope you have a great week. And remember, learn all that you can, make the best plans, and then leave it in God's hands. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, so as I run to this birth, thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I love you guys. Thank you. I'm sorry I have to go.
We love you, and we're praying for the birth.
Thank you.
May
Thank
it be
you so
like
much.
our second.
May it be like your second. Except let us both make it to the hospital. Okay, bye.